she say? Good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Okay, Ed? Okay, Billy? Good?
Yes.
Okay. This meeting of the Walton Hills Zoning Board of Appeals will come to order. Today is February 2nd. The time is 6:03 p.m. Because of the COVID-19 legislation allowing open meetings for the state of Ohio to continue, the Governor of Ohio signed House Bill 404. Meetings such as this can be heard electronically. We are live streaming this meeting on YouTube. This House bill will remain in effect until 7/31/2021. This hearing is a continuance from November 9th, 2020 for Thomas Forrestal, in which the zoning board conducted a discussion regarding the property north of 7350 Dunham Road, lot number 793-20-011. That's how I have it recorded, Mr. Zoning Inspector. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I had the data from our previous meeting.
Okay. Say the address one more time, please.
I had the property north of 7350 Dunham Road, lot number 793-20-011. That was the data that I had recorded.
Okay. I'm just referencing this, the plat consolidation, and I'm seeing 7320. We have referenced this parcel as sublot 3,
Sublot 3?
just so we're all on the same page.
Yeah, 7320 is the commercial lot, commercial building.
Okay, I see.
So that, if I may, do I need to, should I approach? We have a permanent parcel number assigned to that lot now, so we might as well start referring to it as the correct parcel number.
Okay, I was unaware of that.
Yeah, it was filed on Friday last week, so we have a parcel number for sublot 3.
Okay, what's the permanent parcel number of sublot 3?
For sublot 3 is 793-20-027.
027, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I stand corrected, it's 793-20-027. Mr. Forrestal requests a variance to the Village Codified Ordinance number 126607, subsection A, which discusses...
Correction, please. 1266.10.
10, which discusses constructing a driveway using a hard stone surface. During our previous meeting, Mr. Forrestal and the board discussed the following. The board would look at considering a variance. Before moving forward with this hearing, the board recommended a stormwater waterway delineation report. This has been presented to the board. Everyone's got a copy. The board also requested information and approval from the Planning Commission that a lot split had been completed. This information was conveyed in a Planning Commission minutes report to the board. Everyone's got a copy of that. We also requested that we see an engineering stamp of approval and recorded consolidation lot split showing the location of the home that is to be built. This report has been presented to the board, which we all have copies of. Mr. Forrestal, we have a full board present. Everyone that is here has already taken an oath, so the oath will continue into this meeting, so you don't have to take another oath. And I would like to ask Mr. Secretary to please review any additional data for this hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I says you covered most of the data that was available. The variance that was requested is to construct a non-hard surface driveway on that particular piece of property. And at the time, we did not have a full board, but we do have a full board at this hearing.
Could I just clarify that the request was for the first 100 feet from the street to be concrete, but then from there to the
Waterway?
yeah, I guess the concrete around the house. What's the term for that? Apron around the house to be the non-concrete. But recommended surface material is, but again, and it was mostly cost-based, was the, I guess, hardship request.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Secretary, would you please read the ordinance one more time in question, please?
Yes.
Twelve 66.10A, off-street for parking residential parcels. Every newly developed residential parcel shall have a hard-surfaced driveway with a minimum of 2 off-street parking spaces in compliance with the requirements set forth in Section 1266.07.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, have you received any letters or emails from residents pertaining to this evening's hearing since we last met on the 9th of November?
No, I have not.
Okay. All right. I haven't received any, so we don't have any proponents, we don't have any opponents, or anything like that has come across our, Mr. Zoning Inspector, Mr. Kalman, you haven't received anything, have you?
Not one way or the other, no.
Okay. I would like to ask Mr. Forrestal one more time, please give us your reasons for wanting this variance.
So, again, it's a financial question. So my thought is from the street from Dunham Road, the 100 feet from there covers the line of sight. So, you know, I don't think it would be any visual impairment or detriment to, you know, to the area or the property. And, you know, just the total length of the driveway, 450 feet is significant, okay? And I was just hoping to be able to not have to pay for, you know, concrete or asphalt for the whole distance.
Are you also, Mr. Forrestal, if I may ask a question, are you aware of other driveways in the area that have significant concrete hard surface driveways along Dunham Road?
I guess I've seen both, like the, you know, the commercial lot, my commercial lot is all loose surface. I know there's other ones as well. I haven't written down addresses, I didn't know I needed to do that.
Yeah, we did some research, the administration did some research. 7215 Dunham Road is 430 feet. 7195 is 245 feet. A new home constructed at 7250, it hasn't been built yet, has it?
They're building it currently.
That's 550. 7213 Dunham Road is 250 feet. 7185 Dunham Road is 564 feet. 7179 is 190 feet. And there's a small one here, 7353 Dunham Road is 3,320 feet. And you're proposing a 400 footer, and you want us to give you a variance for 100 feet, is what your request is.
Yes. All the ones you just referenced were hard surface?
These are all hard surface concrete, yeah.
Did you notice any that were not hard surface?
No, I have not that I'm aware of, no.
None along Dunham Road?
Anywhere along Dunham Road? I'm going by the area that's in the zoning, in the area around your location.
Okay.
Mr. Chairperson,
Yes.
are they requesting they're requesting a variance of 350 feet, right? That the first 100 feet would be concrete or hard surface, and then the remainder, which is, he said the total length is 450, is that correct?
Well, I think that, so there would be, I don't think it's a full 350 because there would be concrete for the parking spaces
Parking
and, that would come up to me. Just the immediate area around the house would be
Concrete.
concrete,
So approximately
So,
300,
well, yeah. that sounds
approximately
reasonable.
300.
Yes, approximately 350 feet.
I have a quick question.
Yes, Mr.
Just out of curiosity, are you selling the other two lots?
Yes, they have been sold, yes.
Okay, so, and I'm sure this is what the board is going to be considering, but we got Dombrowski to the north of you that's required to put in 550 feet of driveway. And then the first thing I would expect from somebody building next to you, if the variance is granted, is they're going to ask, can we have stone instead of concrete? So it creates, as the enforcement officer, I'm concerned about a domino effect, and all the addresses that were read off with the concrete driveways that are 550 and more and everything else,
Yes.
those were all built before the code was even in effect. Code came into effect in 2009. All these houses were built before then.
I guess is the concern the appearance? What is the concern?
Well, when you do a variance, it's a hardship, okay? I mean, in special, when you go by the state of Ohio's codified ordinances, you go by special conditions, we go by difficulties, we go by hardship, and typically, expense is not considered a hardship, okay? And that's what we're seeing here is an expense as your hardship. That's what we're hearing. That's what we're hearing.
But again, what is the concern, you know, with
It's
is it appearance?
It's an ordinance. It's an ordinance, a codified ordinance of the Village of Walton Hills. I didn't write the ordinance, we're here, we took an oath to enforce the ordinances.
I'm just curious why, again, why?
If I might, Mr. Chairman, I
Mr.
think the
Wayne.
reason that they wrote the ordinance to begin with, and what you're indicating, is for appearance. Because people, you know, don't want gravel driveways with things going up in the middle of them and not taking care of them. And I think that, I mean, we weren't there, we didn't write the ordinance, but that would be my opinion is why they wrote such an ordinance. Why else would they do that? I mean, I can't think of any other reason.
In addition, it's not just only the appearance, there's also issues regarding safety services, ambulance, EMS, fire trucks, access to the property, in adverse weather conditions, safety services. police,
I guess we'd
fire.
have to say maintenance, because the driveways that are permitted or that are grandfathered in because they're gravel throughout our village, there's several that are poorly taken care of. So and then there's nothing from an enforcement standpoint that can be done. There's potholes, mud getting dragged onto the street, weeds growing all through it. So it most likely, and I wasn't here in 2009 when this hit the books, but I would say it's probably appearance overall is why it's on there.
So the safety services, I mean, obviously it would need to be inspected and approved to be suitable for those services, though, regardless of the construction.
Unfortunately, we don't have that process. The code, the building code is what is supposed to handle that issue.
Right, but I mean, I know you guys you won't approve it if it's not suitable, correct?
Well, we haven't voted yet, so.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, when the house is going in, I know there are sign-offs and inspections to make sure that it is, considered safe for vehicles to reach it.
Well, we're going to, ask a few more questions, if we have any. We're going to take a short recess and, come back. I mean, we can debate this all night about appearance. We can debate it all night about safety. We just, I would be upset. Me personally, if I put a driveway in my house 400 feet and, someone else didn't, I would be upset because the law says you need to. The village codified ordinance says you need to. That's just me. As a personal person, if my neighbor built a home and didn't do that, I would be upset because I did.
I mean, Ed, isn't yours gravel? Didn't we talk about it at the last meeting?
Yes, my house was built in 1976, and
There are some, and I'm sure,
yes,
you know,
Yes, there
there are
is.
many that are well
Yeah.
maintained. I take care of
right.
the one in front of my commercial building.
I've, to be honest with you, I wish I had some type of a hard surface driveway. When we had that big snowstorm on the 1st of December, I had gravel all over the place. I had it plowed, and I even told the person plowing it, please leave me about 3 to 4 inches of snow. And he went right down. He leveled it off for me good. I don't have to worry about it. But it took me one whole day to put the gravel back, and I still got more gravel to do. It's not a good situation. Then during the summertime, I'm constantly out there picking up and removing grass and weeds and spraying and all this other stuff. It looks nice. I tell you, my looks nice. My next 2 neighbors, they're happy with it, but my wife wasn't happy with it, with weeds growing up, and so she had me out there. It is. So I'm saving up money right now so I can get it done. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Do we have any more questions from the board?
Is
Mr.
there any
Forrester?
other evidence you want us to consider?
I mean, I did not know, I guess, that you were gonna present a list of ones that were hard surface to allow me to survey and, say there's also these other ones that are not hard surface. I guess I would have liked some notification that we're gonna discuss it that way.
Well, having a continuance allowed us to do some more research, and, this just a work in process. We typically discuss it in our hearing, but we usually don't come back, before a hearing and have communication with the appellant. Before a hearing, we have the discussion at the hearing from our research. And that's how,
It's like a surprise witness, that there's information being presented that I did not have the time or knowledge that information was going to be presented. But whatever, it is what it is.
Well, you're concerned that there are driveways in the area that are not hard surfaces? I think we can take note of that. We do know we have driveways in the village that are not hard surfaces, and that they were probably placed before the zoning change in 2009, and that they're not required to update because they're under the old code
Right, I
section.
understand that, but again, the point is there are some, and, if the concerns are maintenance, appearance, or whatever, I could present information showing they're being well taken care of. I have a plow guy as well. I know that sounds like he's had problems with his, but my gravel is well kept and not piled or doesn't get weedy or anything like that, so.
Just so you understand, it's like, we get this all the time, it's like, everybody feels like it's personal between you and us, it's really not. It has nothing to do with the person, or whether you say you may take excellent care of it, nobody's gonna doubt that, But everybody who comes for variance can say the same thing, well, I wanna take care of mine, don't worry about that. Well, we really can't consider that because, I believe you would do it, I don't doubt that it did. But it's not a personal thing, it's the ordinance that's written, and we just can't throw the ordinance away and say, okay, Joe's a good guy, and we're gonna give him a variance. We can't do that, It's beyond our power to do it, really, and what we're trying to do.
No, to say?
Recess.
You know, it's just like to get into the, you know, the findings of what we're doing here. We do follow rules and guidance here, and, you know, our rules and our guidance of granting a variance include the property. It's about property, it's not about people. It's personal hardship, and it's not grounds for granting a variance. Financial difficulties or expenses are not grounds for granting a variance. The board authorizes no variances unless the board finds that any of the following conditions exist. These are all codified state of Ohio codes here. That there are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property or to the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other class of use in the same zoning district. Number 2, such a variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right possessed by other properties in the same zoning district and in the same vicinity. Number 3, granting a such variance will not materially impair the purpose of village ordinances or the public interest. These are written in our zoning code, all 3 of these. What we do is we have findings. You know, we would like to make comments from the board under hardship. So we're going to touch on hardship, special conditions, appellant's rights, and practical difficulties. Would anyone like to take hardship and speak along those lines?
Mr. Chairperson, I'd like to address hardship. Hardship is not, personal hardship is not necessarily a grounds for granting a variance, especially if the argument is just financial difficulties. That's not necessarily something that the board should consider. It must relate to the physical characteristics of the property. It must be severe and unnecessary. And if you're coming into the property and you are aware of the size, shape, and nature of the property, and that it can be designed to meet the code, the financial difficulty with meeting the code is not necessarily an argument to not comply with the code.
Thank you, Ms. Workman. Special conditions, I could take that if you want. If there are special conditions peculiar to the land and not the result of the applicant, there are no peculiar conditions to the land which would prohibit a hard surface driveway, only an expense as we see it. We are talking about a variance which would be basically inconsistent with the spirit and the intent of the other residents, and this would be a substantial variance of approximately 350 feet. Next one is appellant's rights.
And Mr. Rich, just to add on to that, it's especially if you're looking at the neighbors who have complied with the code at their expense to make sure that even sometimes when the code was not applicable, and went ahead and did the driveway, the hard surface driveway, to make the neighborhood look nice and to keep with upward standards.
Thank you. Would someone like to take the rights?
I'll do that. You want to do it? The appellant's rights are not being denied. You're not being denied where to place the house. You're not being denied access to where the house is. You're not being denied as to what type of hard surface is available to you. Okay, so you do have, your rights are still there.
Thank you, Mr. Pollack. We have practical difficulties on the left. Would you like to take that, Mr. Johansson?
Under practical difficulties, factors to be considered and determined if a practical difficulty exists. whether the property will yield a reasonable return, or if there can be any beneficial use of the property without the variance, whether or not the variance is substantial. Will the essential character of the neighborhood be substantially altered, or will adjoining property owners suffer a substantial detriment as a result of the variance? Will the variance adversely affect the delivery of government services, i.e. water, sewer, and trash? Did the property owner purchase the property with the knowledge of the zoning restrictions? And can the property owner predicament be obviated through some method other than a variance? Whether the spirit and intent of zoning requirement would be observed and substantial justice be done by granting the variance.
Thank you, Mr. Johansson. Anybody else like to speak on the board? Is there a motion regarding this matter? A motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the following motion.
Mr. Pollak?
Make the following motion granting a variance to Walton Hills Codified Ordinance 126610A, the apron and beginning of the right-of-way, the apron and beginning from the right-of-way, the first 100 feet of the driveway shall be of a hard surface material. The remainder of the driveway may be of a non-hard surface material.
Is there
I
a
would
second?
Second the motion.
Motion was read by Mr. Pollak to make a motion to 126610A, hard surface at the apron right away and the first 100 feet hard surface. Seconded by Ms. Workman. We want to vote on the motion? Ms. Workman?
Denied.
Mr. Johansson?
Denied.
Mr. Pollak?
No.
Mr. Bell?
No.
I vote no. Mr. Forrestal, the motion to grant the variance has been denied. Again, our findings, by the time you complete the construction of your home, we would expect within a year's time that the driveway gets put in. If you have, it's final, and we can hear this hearing again, but it won't be again till at least 1 year. You can appeal this to the common pleas, and if you want to take it to the common pleas, you've got 30 days after this date to file with the department. And, I'm sorry, but wish we had better results for you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
I second.
Vote on the motion. Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Mr. Workman? Excuse me, Ms. Workman.
Yes.
I was looking at Wayne. Mr. Johansson?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
And yes.